On right now to the latest that we are getting in, where the Delta Plus version of the new strain of coronavirus is concerned. One thing that is clear is that it is definitely more infectious. There have been 3 states which have been put now on high alert.
Delta Plus, the new variant of coronavirus, is spreading slowly in India. 21 cases of Delta Plus have been detected in Maharashtra. The state government says 9 cases are from Ratnagiri, 7 from Jalgaon, 2 from Mumbai and 1 each from Palghar and Sindhudurg Thane. Cases are also detected in Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka and Kerala. So far, over 40 cases have been reported. The centre has asked the 3 states to be on alert.
आज स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय ने इन राज्यों को एक एडवाइजरी जारी करके ये बताया है व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ पब्लिक हेल्थ रिस्पांस दैट महाराष्ट्र, मध्य प्रदेश एंड केरला शुड इनिशिएट, which presently looks fairly small in terms of number, but we would not want this to assume significant proportion.
The Delta variant had triggered the second wave that stretched India's health infrastructure to the limits. The fear is that latest variant could evade immunity induced by vaccines and previous infection.
This virus can infect people and can be responsible for the third wave. So it has to be the totally a social responsibility to prevent this third wave from the Delta Plus.
India could perhaps learn from the UK experience. A new study from Public Health England shows that Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was 88% effective in preventing symptomatic disease due to Delta in fully vaccinated people. But the fear is that AstraZeneca vaccine provided slightly less protection. 2 shots were 60% effective against the variant. But there are concerns as well. From February 1 to June 14, 73 deaths were reported in Britain owing to Delta variant. 34 of them weren't vaccinated. 11 had received 1 dose of COVID vaccine. 26 had received both shots.
Scientists are still working to understand this virus, and particularly now with these mutating viruses. And for safety, the only weapon we have is vaccination. AstraZeneca is equivalent to COVID Shield of India. It is definitely effective, almost 80 to 90% if you had both the doses of this vaccine.
As of Wednesday, there are over 200 known cases of Delta Plus variant. United States and United Kingdom have more than half of them.
With the Delta Plus variant, the immediate question is, could it be a contributing factor to the impending third wave in India? Experts believe that one should move on precedents, because even though the Delta variant, the parent variant, was seen in India in a few cases in December 2020, emerging evidence shows that it was the one that wreaked havoc across the country in the second wave of COVID-19. Right now, more sequencing will need to be done from each and every district where the Delta Plus is being reported from. With Dinesh Lal in New Delhi, this is Milan Sharma for India Today.
All right, viewers, now let's get you the latest in the religious conversion racket that has come up in Uttar Pradesh. Well, there's more damning evidence in that. Take a look. Omar Gautam, where he is seen admitting to the conversion ring. Meanwhile, probe reveals that Gautam's organization, Islamic Dawah Center, has links with a Qatar-based associate of Zakir Naik. The group also allegedly received funding from abroad.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इस सेंटर में 1000 से ज़्यादा लोगों के लीगल डॉक्यूमेंटेशन की फॉर्मेलिटीज़ पूरी की गई हैं। हमारे यहाँ इस्लामिक दावा सेंटर में पोलैंड से, पुर्तगाल से, जर्मनी से, सिंगापुर से, अमेरिका से, इंग्लैंड से कहीं कितने ममालिक से लोग आकर के उन्होंने वहाँ से अपना लीगल असिस्टेंस भी लिया, उनकी मैरिजेस के भी मामलात हुए, कोर्ट मैरिज के भी मामलात हुए, और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ये एक सिलसिला चल रहा है कि ये काम हम सब का मिला जुला काम है। जैसा कि हज़रत मौलाना ने फरमाया, ये तमाम उम्मत मुस्लिमा का ये यूनैनिमस यूनाइटेड एफर्ट है जिसको सबको मिलकर करना है।
इस धंधे के जो धर्म परिवर्तन का काम है उसके न संविधान इजाज़त देता है, न सरकार इजाज़त दे सकता है और न समाज इजाज़त देगा। इसलिए जो है वो संविधान, समाज और सरकार दोनों इस ज़बरदस्ती धर्म परिवर्तन के धंधे के ख़िलाफ़ है, और जो भी इसमें शामिल है, जहाँ से भी सुपारी लेकर के ये काम हो रहा है, वो बचेंगे नहीं, ये बात समझ लेना चाहिए।
All right, viewers, let's shift focus to the latest happening in the state of Punjab. Till now, it's been Congress versus Congress. Amarinder versus Sidhu. Well, the drama unfolding in the national capital. The latest, Sidhu is going to be called in by the Congress committee. But in the meanwhile, Amarinder Singh, wanting to meet Rahul Gandhi, was snubbed today.
It's the war of the Sardars in Punjab. And with months to go for state elections, Congress is firefighting its biggest political crisis. But the party's top leadership hasn't met Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh yet. In his 2 visits to the capital to discuss the rebellion against him by Navjot Singh Sidhu, Captain Amarinder Singh has returned without meeting the Congress High Command. The party's interim president Sonia Gandhi has appointed a 3-member panel to broker peace in Punjab, but neither she nor Rahul Gandhi have met the captain so far. Imagine that, not meeting a visiting chief minister amidst a crisis. Rahul, in fact, decided to meet senior Punjab leaders Sunil Jakar, Manpreet Badal and Punjab troubleshooter Harish Rawat instead, but not the chief minister himself.
राहुल गांधी से मुलाकात के बाद आपको लगता है कि ये मामला अब जल्द सुलझ जाएगा?
बिल्कुल सुलझ जाएगा, इलेक्शन बेहतर तरीके से सुलझेगा और कांग्रेस बड़ी सुरखरू होकर निकलेगी, मजबूत होगी। टाइम फ्रेम, इन बातों को टाइम फ्रेम नहीं होता, बड़ा जल्द होगा सब।
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਰਿਐਲਿਟੀ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਨੇ, ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰਸ ਤੇ ਐਮਐਲਏਜ਼ ਜਾਂ ਐਮਪੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗ੍ਰੀਵੈਂਸਸ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਜੈਨੂਇਨ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਬਕਾਇਦਾ ਥ੍ਰੈਡ ਬੇਅਰ Rahul ji na main discuss.
Dissident Sidhu is said to be close to the Gandhi siblings. But what explains this direct snub to Amarinder Singh, who's currently the party's best bet in poll-bound Punjab? The captain seems to have finally drawn the line against Sidhu, who has accused the chief minister of lying and corruption. Sources tell India Today that the motor-mouth MLA will be summoned to Delhi shortly. The 3-member panel has also sought a record of Sidhu's statements against Amarinder Singh.
So far, there is no truce of Congress. The party high command is hoping to resolve the crisis by the first week of July. But with elections barely few months away, the top leadership needs to step up its effort for damage control before it's too late. With camera person Sachin, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
All right, viewers, heavy-duty politics has now peaked in the state of Karnataka all over the airport construction in Shimoga. Why so? Well, the Congress has hit out at the BJP on the design of the airport. After Congress claimed the design of the airport terminal resembles BJP's election symbol, the Lotus. Shimoga MP and son of Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, B.Y. Raghavendra, clarified that the terminal does not look like a lotus and questioned Congress's hypocrisy. Raghavendra said the party had named airports after its former leaders, Indira and Rajiv.
We have been warning the government that if the structure resembles a lotus, which is the electoral symbol of the BJP, then it has been treated by the Delhi High Court way back in 2016 as something which cannot be done, which is not permissible. The state BJP and the central BJP take this seriously and shelve the project because it's not permissible, not at all, to have an airport project which resembles a lotus, which is the electoral symbol of the BJP.
Constructions company, they made this arcade tour. It is not a lotus. It is only like joining the petals like that. So in the time of departure, in the time of landing in they seek like a flower. It is not a lotus. No, it is not a.
So you're saying it definitely is not. Doesn't look like a lotus, and also the front elevation doesn't look like a flower.
Yes, sir. Even front elevation, there is no issues of any flower. Looks like a flower.
Meanwhile, Tokyo is all getting ready to host the Olympics 2021, and this is how the preparations are going.
The Olympic Games are all set to begin in Tokyo amid the COVID pandemic. Scheduled earlier in 2020, the COVID outbreak forced officials to postpone the Games. But now it's back on track and contingents have started to arrive. The National Stadium in Tokyo, renovated just last year, is gearing up to host the Games in weeks from now. The government is expected to lift its state of emergency that was imposed in April. But residents of Tokyo are worried that the Games could turn into a super spreader event.
Yes, I will exciting the Olympics because I am now sports now, and a little 不安、ちょっと不安だけど、I want to continue to open the Olympics.
Olympics should happen because it's gonna give people lots of hope, and I personally want to watch Olympics on TV. Also, if I can get a ticket, I also want to watch in the stadium as well.
Japan struggled earlier this year as COVID cases surged. Hospitals ran out of beds, the death toll climbed up, and infection rates spiraled out of control. Cases may have come down now, but the slow pace of vaccination has been a concern for many citizens. Only 10.4% of the country's population has been inoculated so far. Experts are divided. Some believe that the Olympics must be called off, while others say that with proper precautions, the government can ensure there is no COVID outbreak in Japan post the Games.
They are quite open to people to come in and go out because it's a kind of, there's a democracy. People have freedom to do whatever they want. And that's the reason Japan actually have never had a lockdown. It's only emergency situation where you can restrict some activities. And I think generally Japan has done very well in terms of restricting the COVID spread because we don't have vaccine here yet. Mass is not vaccinated, but still the restrictions and people's obedient manners, I think we have done very well, and we are living quite nicely compared to any other country in the world.
Many locals in Tokyo are scared of a COVID nightmare rerun, but there is also an air of excitement in the city.
I think for the most part, the world is open back up with the vaccinations.
ぜひ開催して盛り上げてコロナ対策をしながら盛り上げていきたいと思ってます。でいいですか?
With just a few more days left for the Olympics to begin, people believe that government has handled the situation quite well in the past few months. And if proper precautions are taken, they will be able to pull off the Olympics well. However, we cannot leave out the section that believe that the Olympics should have been cancelled or at least postponed, keeping public health in mind. This is Paulami Burman from Tokyo.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching a fact-check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is information floating about suggesting that the G7 summit hangar was full of private jets. False. The fact check on that is not true. This 2-year-old picture of a Boeing field is from Seattle. Nothing to do with the G7 summit. With that fact check, time for us to go into a quick break. To stay with me, up next is To The Point.